Alright, hey guys, how is the volume and the audio today? Actually, are we crooked? Let's see if we can square this up a little bit. There we go. Great, great, great. Alright. Ryan, okay. I assume this is for you, from you then. Okay. Didn't want to assume, but I kind of had a hunch, since I don't think there's anyone else of that name that I can think of. Hello, Home Lee. Hello, Landon. Hello. Sorry. I would try to pronounce that, but I'm afraid I would fail. But hello anyway. So we have a box here. I went to the post office, was all excited when I got a key that says, hey, go to this other box that's got cool stuff in it. And I said, well, that's fantastic. And I pulled the box out. Hey, come back. You got mail. Come here. Come here. And it said, Mr. Cragar. And I didn't get mail. Cragar got mail instead. Hi. So, he's a bit spoiled lately. If you saw on the Facebook and Instagram, you'll see the tactical vest that I bought for him for Christmas. Had to test it out, make sure it was going to fit, because he's kind of a weird-sized guy. And yeah, he's really digging it. So, oh, okay, we got paperwork. Hope I didn't cut through it. Okay. Hey, it's got dogs on the box. Simply had to reuse this box. Yes, sirree, Bob. I can see why. What are you doing in there? Come on back out. Come on. Come on. It's for you. Get back in here. Okay. Hey, can you come here for a minute? Okay. Mr. Cragar. Note says, woof, 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 woo, woof, woof, woof. Grr, woof, 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 grr. Bark, woof, woof, bark. Woo, grr, grr, bark, woof, 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 bark. Woo, grr, bark, woof, woofing you, blue skies and grr lights. Ryan, Michelle, Greta, and Gabe. P.S. for translation, click here. So what do you think of that? Is that pretty cool? That's pretty cool. All right, let's see what we got. We got that guy. We got these things. For heaven's sake, man, where are you going? There's nothing in there for you. Come back. He was a bad guy today. I got home, and he had drug the trash can out of the kitchen cupboard, under the sink, and had drug garbage all over the kitchen, all over the dining room, halfway into the living room, and all the way into the... Yes, I'm talking about you. Come back out into the laundry room. So, well, that is super... Get that... Hey, hey. We got things for you here. Come on. All right. All kinds of chewable things. Oh, yeah. What do you think of that? You like that? Hey. Want this thing? Come on. Why don't you jump up here? There you go. There you go. See, that's pretty cool, huh? You like that? All right. Well, that is pretty neat. And a rubberized, kind of a, what do you call that? That fire hose material stuff. All right. What do you think of that? Does that smell cool? Is that pretty cool? You think that's for you? You think it's for you? I think it's for you. Bone a Giggle dog toy. Oh, hey now. What do you think of that one? That makes all kinds of weird noises, huh? Haha. And a pen thing. Holy smokes! Is it just a single guy? Oh, hey now. Now things are getting interesting. Okay, we got this, look like a pen. In fact, it's a little tiny screwdriver with something else on it, which is a... I'm gonna break it. Don't break, please. Oh, cool. With another guy with a standard and Phillips both. That is super, super neat. Well, thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on the bench as well, because it is nice to have. In fact, I might put this with the gear for going to the arena and stuff like that. Kind of my war bag of sorts. So I always have screwdrivers. Otherwise, I just throw this guy in my pocket, and that's not very comfortable. This you just kind of clip in the shirt or something too. All right. Yes, thank you very much. Will not puncture your pocket. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, I've actually taken this to the arena, and then usually I take it out, put it with the rest of my gear. Well, yeah, a couple times I've just left it there, and then I go, flying in behind cover and squat down and go, whoa! Which is not comfortable. Oh, wait. Oh, what the heck is this? A football toy. Will you jam stuff in it? Kibble can be inserted in the toy for slow eating. Haha. What do you think of that? You can put all sorts of crazy stuff in there. Yeah. Is that pretty cool? You want that one? Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, hey. A massaging bath mitt. What do you think of that? Does it smell funny? See, that dog's enjoying it. See, look at that. Enjoying that? Yeah. Have to try. Hey, come back here. Yeah, what do you think of that? Is it kind of scary? Is that scary? Are you being massaged? Do you like that? Yeah. See, that's all right. That's all right. All right. Oh, you want that back? You want that back? Oh. Well, hey, the box isn't empty yet. Box isn't empty. And another one. And, oh, nice. Very nice. I've actually wanted to get one of these. My dad had one. And I've borrowed it a time or two. But, it's a stainless steel, as it says, ruler. And it's got this nice little cork backing on it. But it's nice. It's kind of flexible for especially aligning shells, not just measuring things, but using for making sure stuff's aligned correctly. This is super cool because, like, mine here that I've been using is actually slightly warped a little bit. I don't know if it'll show here, but by the time you get to, like, that side, yeah, if you score up this end, it's actually off just a little bit. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a gap in the middle. So yeah, I'm going to take this guy and put him where he belongs. And heck yeah, thank you very much. That is nice. It's nice. Oh, you bummed out because it's not for you? Come on back. Come on back. Very nice. It is cool that it has a little bit of flex this way, so that way you can kind of still line up, like, you can line up rails and stuff. Then if you need to, like, follow the bit of a contour somewhere to make sure this is still square with this back down here, that. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you very much, Mr. Ryan. Now, let's get a load of this guy. Homely, gotta go. Office Christmas dinner thing. Good chatting with everybody. Hey, thanks for stopping by. And good luck at your office dinner thing. I know how those can be sometimes, so don't do anything I wouldn't do, and make sure everybody can respect you when you go home. And have a good time. There, check that out. Check that out. What do you think of that? Is that pretty cool? Yes, you still like that? You still like that? Here, let's do this. Can we do this? So we can take the mount here and go, whoa! That'll work. Hey, hey, come on back. You get a look at your stuff now. There, see? Now all the happy people can see you. Is that pretty cool? You like that one? Is it Doc's back? You broke your squeaker bone already last year. Haven't had anything that makes noise for you anymore. Is that pretty cool? Is that one yours? You want that one? You gotta bite it real good. There. Get a load of that guy. Is that pretty cool? Good boy. Good boy. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool thing. Where you going? Hey, come on back. We got more. We got more. Get a load of this guy. obligatory joke about not cutting towards yourself as I cut towards myself. What do you think of that thing? That thing feels pretty indestructible. I think you'd have a heck of a time getting that one. Look at this guy. Huh? It's not going to squeak. It doesn't squeak. Are you upset? Just hang on a second. Hang on a second. Getting all antsy. No squeaky. No squeaker on that one. Huh? There you go. It's not going to squeak. It's not going to squeak. It's just squishy. Go ahead. There you go. God. It's pretty exciting. Is it pretty exciting? Here, let's try these guys. Okay, I got my middies. What do you think of that? Is that pretty weird? You want to play with these next? What do you think of that? Huh? 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 Oh, how's that? How's that? Your hair, it's going everywhere. Oh. Grrr. Good grief. Look at that. Okay. Let's put some miles on these things for sure. Huh? Huh? What's more of that? Huh? Was that good? Was that good? You like that? Hey, you can't chew. Ah, you can't chew on these ones. Hey. Oh, that one? Oh, it's got a tag on it. Hey. Think of that? What do you think of that one? You like the quiet one? It's nice. I like it when he likes the quiet toys. Or you like that one? You like that one though? There you go. There's just too much stuff. Is it just Christmas came too early and you just can't take it? Let's see that. What'd you do with it? You dropped that. Yeah, Sepron. The box of squeakers. This is not the box of squeakers, I don't think. If anyone who wasn't here last time, we had a discussion about adding like the squeaker mechanism thing from like a dog toy or whatever into like a Titan rocket. There's those little air vents on the sides of the tip. Talking about implanting squeakers on that, so that way when you get cold cocked on the side of the head with a Titan rocket, it at least squeaks at you. So yeah, no squeaker box. What do you think of that one? Not sure what to think of that. All right. Cool. Any of that? Here, why don't you have that guy too? And this guy. And there's that guy. We'll put some goodies in this one for you later. We'll work you over nice with these. later tonight, so you look all fancy for when Mom gets home. You like that? All right. Awesome, Ryan. If you're still hanging out, thank you very much. And Cragar Dog's very happy. He's just so overwhelmed right now. He's just kind of looking around like, I don't know what toy to play with. Did we stop? There we go. Let me bring this guy back in. Like that. Perfect. All right. Good boy. Hey, what'd you do? You put it under the car? Don't put it under the car. Come on. There you go. There you go. Your hair is everywhere. Your hair is everywhere. All right. Okay. Squeakers. Okay. Working on a Straven. Straven, interesting. Okay. Very nice. Designing a Jolt holster for the Jolt without the front cap. It's on Thingiverse. It still needs fine tuning. Doesn't work now, but cool. Always good to have pretty much anything. I mean, all this stuff that's showing up on Thingiverse. That's cool. You may have to take that in the house if you're going to keep doing that. It's cool to see people cranking out even weird stuff, even very weird niche stuff. It's cool to see showing up on Thingiverse because there's other people who want weird stuff too. Yes, thank you for not bringing all or sending all squeaking toys. He has one in particular that's just awful that he thankfully broke about a month ago. But oh, good grief! It was one of those where it's like, hey, there's company coming over, and he goes and grabs that one, and it's like, you know what? That one's going to disappear into the couch, I think. Well, cool. And thank you for the note. I'll put it with the rest of them. Always cool to have kind of a collection of notes and things from everybody in the hobby. It just kind of brings everything a little closer to home, it seems like. Okay. First thing you ever designed, want something simple. That's pretty simple. Okay. RZ Rider, are we working on anything? No, this was just another unboxing video, just unboxing some toys and things from the Engelstad house. A box not shipped to me, but shipped to Cragar Dog in care of me. Let me come back. Oh, is this the one you're looking for? There you go. There you go. Good boy. Good boy. Yes, that's good. We actually, it's going to make it awkward because I think my wife is planning on buying him some toys for Christmas because he's kind of burned out the last couple and just it's kind of about due for a change of toys for him. So now we don't have to. So thank you very much. But yeah, RZ, that's really not working on anything. Just opening a box and figured we'd kind of see, not knowing what was in the box, didn't know how long this was going to be. So we, oh hey, Slater, thank you very much for the $1. Sure appreciate it. You want this one too? You looking for this one? There you go. So I guess if there's any questions or things, or if anybody wants to bring up anything, there's 18 of you. Bless y'all. Go ahead and throw it out there and see where the conversation leads, or if you have any questions about a project or want to look at anything. And in fact, one thing, just for the heck of it, development on another project. Give me a minute. Hi, happy boy. What are you doing? Look at that. You should be happy with that? You like that a lot? You like it? Boy. Boy. What's up for you? You already got toys. You got enough toys right now. Oh. Will you ever make a Chronomag? Funny you should ask. I just got 2 Chronos in yesterday from that Black Friday sale or Cyber Monday, whatever it was. On Amazon when they were $6.99. I bought 2 of them. I wish I could have gotten more, but that was the last of the money I had available for that sort of thing. But with the intention of building one into a Chronomag. The other one I'm not sure, but I wanted to at least have another loaner if I don't turn it into something else cool. You like the loud one too? You got one more? Yeah, it's over here. It's over here. There you go. Yeah, one's getting a Chronomag, and it'll probably get a bit of a... in fact, I think I'm going to modify it to work directly with the Talon mags, because I do have, well, at least planning on getting some of those whenever the availability, clears up or whatever, and I get some more money and things. But I do plan to do some of those, but I do think I'm going to make it dedicated. I don't know, depending on how the adapter works, if the adapter is splittable, I'm thinking I might try to integrate the adapter into the shells themselves, to where the shells coming closed holds the adapter piece closed, so it actually integrates the whole mechanism itself into the shell. That's kind of the plan, but to make it, since it's going to be, I don't really do any integration stuff on my rival stuff because it's like my business blasters and things, because I take them to the arena and actually do a lot more hard gaming and stuff with the rival stuff, and I don't know, I've been focused more on performance and usability with those instead of aesthetics, so I don't really do much integrating with rival stuff. But since this is going to be a dart blaster, then I feel I'm going to go ahead and take it the extra step. If I'm cutting it up that much anyway, then I'm going to probably do something with the grip, depending on how things work, probably put a little bit of a muzzle extension on it of some kind, since I'm going to have, depending on what kind of spring I go with, depends on how much barrel I'm going to need, and depends on how much I'm going to have to extend the front of the thing to accommodate that barrel. So it'll just kind of depend on how it works. I don't know. I have no plan, so to speak. I haven't really thought that far ahead. But I do know that I do want to build a mag-fed short dart Chronos because they're cool. But yeah, I do have one set aside specifically for that, but it's not quite on the bench yet. When are we getting that blue Chronos? Boy, I wish I knew, because I really would have preferred to buy colored ones, because I'd actually prefer the red one, because I have red everything else rival. Yeah, it is interesting. I don't know when those are actually going to hit the ground out here. Okay. Cut a good crossbolt. Crossbolt, yeah. Kind of. I mean, it's been cut up for a while, but yes, great minds, you might say. This is a project. This is actually a commission that hasn't appeared on the channel yet. I've been kicking around this for longer than I'd care to admit, but it's one of those where it's like, hey, I'm doing this commission thing kind of on the side. But it's a Strife long shot with a crossbolt. This is the Rattler pump. But one of the issues I was coming up with, as far as, I was originally going to flat top it, but in order to, in fact, I have a worker rail that I was going to add the full long shot top rail to and have it incorporated into the long shot part, but then I shortened the long shot, and the Strife flywheels stick up too high, because I was going to have to trim off a little bit, but then it would turn out I'd have to cut out some of the worker rail. So it's like, at that point, I might as well just rebuild everything. But then I thought, okay, by the time I put a flat top on top of the Strife, after adding the barrel and everything, I'm going to have a lot of material above the long shot part, and that kind of throws off the long shot lines. So then I thought, okay, I'll just put a rail on the top of long shot itself. And then back here, it incorporates this part. And then here, this is a weird blue bump, but it is actually a cover for the voltmeter. So the voltmeter sits inside. I actually think I'm going to pull this in a little bit more. I didn't want to have the voltmeter flush fit. I wanted to have this console piece, you might call it, act as a bit of a visor, so the gauge or the dial is set in a ways, just so you have kind of a little bit of a shadow to it and kind of a protector as well. And that way it just kind of has everything all line of sight and is all kind of incorporated. And this is a wizard, and this is the bottom part of the wizard here, and then the grip. Where's the grip? Grip stuck out like here, like that. So it's kind of like the back, this area, if you're holding the wizard. And then I'm going to take and cut this back a little bit further. Probably following the strife line where the strife, well, yeah, you can kind of see there, where like the battery door drops down this way. I think I'm going to pull this line back a little bit more of an angle, kind of like so, just so you have a little bit more of a gradual, I don't know, so like as the thing's shouldered, you can kind of see across the rail and see the gauge and everything instead of having to get such a radical drop off here. And also had the thought, this is one of those battery meters. This was just an idea I was kicking around earlier. So I was like, well, what do I do with this area so it doesn't look so weird? So I thought about kind of blending it a little bit to where it looks to where, let's see, where's a magazine? To where when it's loaded, then like the body kind of comes up and around just a little bit, so you still have room to get your finger in there and take care of business. But it looks a little more finished, so it's not just a hole, it kind of rounds, has a little more of a cleaner rounded end look. But then I also thought, if I build another panel here, especially, you know, once I cut this area off a little bit more, I could fit this battery gauge kind of here, and then kind of mold the body around it, so you have kind of like an actual instrument panel of sorts. Since the voltmeter would read differently than the battery gauge itself, assuming the battery is like battery life and the voltage is actually like usable voltage or whatever. But it's just an idea. I'll have to trim this back quite a ways to get this to fit nice, and then have this kind of built up, which, I mean, if I put this in here like this, I could have this piece like build up about a quarter of an inch or so on the sides, which would lessen the amount of weird drop where the jam door is. So that's a thought, but I also need something to basically bridge the gap between the strife and the cross bolt, because you have height here, but then you have not height here. But I also don't want to have, because you have essentially you have a height here, then it drops down to here, then it drops down again here. So I didn't want to have like a stair step, because I really don't like that. And so I'm probably going to pick this, move this back a little bit, and also pick this up here, but then you still have a bit of a stair step. So I also considered taking and trimming this part down. This is just going to be the battery storage area. No solid plan as far as, like, basically battery access is going to be, you open that up, and all your stuff's hiding in here, and this will be capped off nice and neat here. But I also am considering dropping this whole, like, the gray area down just a little bit. But I'm concerned that that'll affect the relationship of the jam door, because the jam door is set in, and then the gray is set in from the blue, so there you have kind of that stair-step effect there. I just don't want to make it too radical, but there again, maybe making it more radical might make it less of a stair-step, and it'll just be like an inset panel. I don't know. So right now I'm kind of looking at what do I do to bring this line forward here, because this is where the rail's going to be. And I might build it to where... Where's the thing? Where's the thing? You got a thing? I don't have a thing handy. Build it to where, instead of building this top layer across here and then putting a rail on top of that, have it to where this, it basically follows along the top of the rail, and so the rail mounting surface would actually be just stepped down a little bit. So this solid line here would be, like, instead of having this line with a rail on it, this would be this level with the top of the rail. So, you know, just an idea. And this was originally going to be built with the thumb hole, but I just couldn't get the thumb hole comfortable enough to where I was happy with it. And so I eliminated that, and it was still a bit cramped, and I was going to slide this back further, but I already moved it back, you know, that far in order to get a little more room so it wasn't so crampy on the wrist. Because I do like to have, when you have, this is technically a rifle format, it's got a stock, it's got a grip and everything. I want it to be able to be still pistolable, to where when you stick it out ahead of your body like this, you don't have to like crane your wrist around or like, you know, since you have such a harsh angle here, I already trimmed that off, but it's going to be kind of rounded off. But adding this, this is one of the grips from, or the heel from tungsten that I got last week, and this just seemed like such a natural fit. So I might integrate those entirely, since this is the split model, just so that it can be, so you don't have quite a radical difference in material. Since this is going to be all finished and painted, I might actually integrate the grip pieces into the grip itself. But so this way you kind of sight down it, you'd have a bit of a rail for if you wanted to put a scope on. At the very least, you have something there to kind of finish that off. and then you're looking down across the voltmeter, and then you have this rail here, which really probably won't function for anything. I don't know. And the person I'm building it for said he's not planning on running an optic, so rails aren't super important. This was going to be an HVZ built blaster, but I don't know if that's changed because it's been a little bit. Maybe I'll just use something like this and just carry it all the way forward. In fact, there is this it? Huh. Actually, I have the pieces out. That's handy. You take more like this, which, does that fit in? Yeah, it fits in there. And, I mean, that carries about that far. This would be an absolutely unusable piece and would just function as a filler. I would probably just, I don't know. Kind of interesting. I'm not sure what the heck to do there. But then I'd only have to take care of this front part. But that fills up about half of it, so that's an idea. Especially if I trim this back a little ways, all I need is just something to angle it down. That's an option. It'd look cool, especially if you put some like lights or something in there, so it's like, hey, I got lights on my thing. So that's an option. But anyway, like I was saying, just thoughts. Right now, that's the one thing that's kind of shelved this so far, is just the fact that I've got this area here and I'm not quite sure what to do with it. So, oh crap, you guys have been talking. I need to catch up. A Centurion spring and a Chrono spring with a Chronomag kit, able to hit 200 FPS. That's perfect. I've got a couple, what, 3 or 4 Centurion plincher assemblies, so that's an option. Where's Allison Head? They're usually here. Yeah, what the heck, guys? Jeez, you foreigners. Think you can just show up whenever you please? Will you get an MHP or an MHP Mark II? I would love to get an MHP. I plan to eventually. That or a Pigeon. Probably an MHP first, just because they look really, really, really cool. Pigeon's dang cool too, don't get me wrong. No, I would like to see, or would like to get a hold of an MHP at some point, especially the Mark II, which was just revealed yesterday, because that thing is very attractive. Mom bought a Prometheus on Christmas, $29. Oh, heck yeah. I looked at that and said, it's still like $100. It's $100 off, but it's still like $100, and I just am not ready to commit to that. I still haven't even bought a Nemesis, because I really don't need one. Don't really have a super huge interest in one. I mean, if I came across one for super cheap, I'd probably do something cool with it, but yeah, Prometheus is still way too up there. However, I would like to see one. Instead of being kind of a heavy, underslung kind of guy, I would like to see somebody take one and cut off like the back of a Chaos or something, so it's actually like a rifle format. Because it's got a really good rate of fire, and it's got the better feeding capacity and everything. It would be cool to have one that's actually like shoulderable instead of just kind of hanging there off to the side. So if I'm able to acquire one, then that'll happen, and if somebody else beats me to it, that's okay too. I'd just like to see it done, which is actually the reason I do a lot of the things I do, is because I have an idea and it's like, it'd be cool if somebody did that, but then nobody does, so it's like, I guess I'm going to do this thing because I want to see it happen. Yes, Nemesis are only $50. I looked at them at that point and was still like, just, I don't know, something like that, where it's not something I really want personally. It's hard to justify. It's like, it's still a good deal, but is it a good deal for me? Not so much. I'll wait for thrifting one or something like that, or, yeah, it'll come eventually, I'm sure. Centurion top part might look good. Yeah, except I'm down to, I got one more. I've only got one more Centurion left, and it's still in one piece and functional, and I'm going to keep it that way, I think, just because I have extra mags for it now. What's wrong? You playing with all your toys? No, if I get some more Centurion shells, then it would kind of free me up a little bit to be a little more weird with the things I do. But right now I'm running low on Centurion, so I have to go do some thrifting or something, or I don't know. Centurion might be too wide, though, for sure. Yeah, because I think Centurion is like as wide as the, as wide as the widest part of the strife, mirrored. So that'd be way too wide there unless you wrap it all the way around, and then you kind of lose the whole Centurion crossbolt stock thing. Use some Warbler. I've heard about Warbler. I don't know what the heck it is, but I know cosplayer people use it for building things that they wear and stuff, and it's apparently pliable or whatever. Interesting stuff. I don't do the whole cosplay thing because, but no, interesting. It's good to know that it doesn't work so good, so I'm not going to invest too much time researching it. Okay. Any advice for building a strife? Depends on what you're building. I mean, are you talking building building the insides, or are you talking about building the outside? Hi, you brought that back. That's loud. That's a loud squeaker. Running low on Centurions, know the feeling. Yes, Mr. Rainbow. Yes, it's Centurions are good for like one thing, cutting up. But I don't know. It's too bad that's the way it is. But they're just so darn good looking and so darn worthless beyond that. So Raven top rail for the gap. Actually, I should have some top rail somewhere. I think from. I'm looking at my wall here, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ravens stuck to the back of different projects, and it's like, I guess I'm good at cutting up ravens. Okay, technically that one's Alice's, so that's not mine, so I can't take credit for it. But yeah, I do have a lot of. I have more ravens cut up than I have ravens complete at this point on the shelf or on the wall over there. Raven. Actually, hang on a second. Yeah, leaving your toys everywhere. Quick thought. Just I don't have a rail. I have like the front piece, and I've got pieces underneath. But I just came across this deal, which is not the stock, but like the arm support from the Super Drum, and it just looked like too wide. Okay, it's just one of those where it's like, well, it's not really railish, but it's still interesting because it's got things on it and stuff. But yeah, it's I wouldn't want to go any wider than the crossbolt part, unless... No, it's not even long enough to... it was just a thought. But I do kind of like that detail anyway, and it's one of those things that it's not really going to get used for anything anyway, besides something very similar. So, it was an idea. Have I thought about using a Vagabond grip for an integration? I actually... Well, technically I was going to use everything in front of a Vagabond grip for an integration, but that... I had to kind of abandon that. Aesthetics really don't work for me so much. I mean, you'd have to be putting it on something else that has a similar style grip, but not so much, not so much. Tell you what, why don't we just be silly and let's do this for a second. We're gonna brainstorm. So let's pull this guy back out to there. Nope, a little bit more. To there. Nope, bending on far. There we go. Okay. So I have a couple boxes of pieces and parts. The small ones anyway, the big ones behind everything else. So, I guess that should have been like a headphone warning or whatever they say when things get real loud and it upsets people. But hey, a little bit of Raven. Yeah, there we go. So that guy goes... Well, that might have just been a whole lot easier than... Gonna hang on to that real quick. Trying to remember what the heck I cut. This is a rail, you know, the rail part of the Centurion barrel, but I'm trying to think of what the heck I cut it off for. Nothing. Oh! Well, okay. It was that. But upside down? Yeah, okay. Wow, that kind of freaked me out for a minute. I was like, I don't remember cutting that off. Where's that at? No, that's the bottom of a long strike. Oh, that's from Yellow Jacket. Okay. Wow. Guess it's been a while since I've been through this one. There's the strife door that gave up its little screwy deal for the battery door on the Centaur. Too weird. Top or bottom of a tri-brake. I don't have a tri-brake, but maybe someday when I grow up I can have a tri-brake too, and then we can discuss that at that point. Is it bad that you forgot I was blonde? No, because usually all you see is my arm hairs. My head hardly sticks out very often. I don't blame you a bit. I appreciate it now because it's going away. No, that's not going away. So, yeah, before we get into this one, 'cause there's bigger chunks, let's take a minute to say, okay, that fits the purpose of needing to be slightly narrower. It's not just a rail on its own. It has kind of this cool bumpy round thing on the side. If we line it up there, more or less, it's not going to be rounded off because why not? Was this must have been off of the Jackal, because I cut off the front part where it had the little loopy deals that come down, because that got turned into the sling points on the back of the stock. So that's probably where this guy came from. But if we added something to, so we take this guy, because we're going to pull this line back to a, you know, where's my marker? I had a marker earlier. So kind of pull this guy back more like that or so. Especially, you know, if I did build the console piece that fit that other gauge in here, we could pull everything, you know, pull this drop down more up to this line here, which follows this line here basically, which is kind of the main body line of the strife, which doesn't really work back here anymore because it's all gone. That'd put it right about there. So then you'd have basically this line would come straight back and go back here. It's always nice when the furnace kicks off because I don't feel like I'm yelling anymore. Which would put that guy right about there. You can just kind of line stuff up like that. To put that right about there. You guys can't even see here. No, this way. There we go. Okay. Sorry, different angle on things. You don't know what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this. You liking your squeaker? That's cool. Good boy. You're being such a good boy now. You're so bad earlier. So yeah, if that guy goes there, I might actually be able to make that work. Who the heck suggested that? Who suggested Raven Rail? What did I use to cut those sections off? Most everything here gets cut with the, well, this guy here got cut with a bandsaw. Mostly it's just with the cutoff wheel on the Dremel. So, just watching the Jackal video today. Ah, cool. Really need to get that thing back out. Somebody told me that I needed to work on that like 2 streams ago. They said, hey, work on the Jackal, because I told people to say, hey, tell me to work on the Jackal, so I'll work on the Jackal. You told me to, and I still haven't, so I'm sorry. I'm not quite a liar, but I am busy. Rainbow, okay. Thank you, Mr. Hugmaster, yourself. That was you. Excellent. Well, we're going to put that in the looking like a promising idea pile. And yeah, you guys can see what's going on. This one's interesting. I don't know if this will show up. This was off of a thrifted, thrifted? No, this was I think this was in the pile of junk from Dart Wars, if I remember right. But if you look, where the heck are you? You're over here. Somebody tried to sand the stuff off the side with apparently, I don't know, Dremel of some kind. But this is like, it's all lumpy this way. There's like no flat surfaces anywhere. It's really, really ridiculous. Anyway, it's done that on both sides, and then they apparently tried to like grind the fins off of the magazine and tried to grind the labels off the slide. Anyway, it was disasterful. But RZ Rider, Rattler foregrip, yes sirree, Bob. Some Magnus bits. This was a cut down Magnus, which was, what was it for? What was it for? It was this was originally the barrel, or the underbarrel, for the Centurion Demolisher integration that I gave to Ryan of Silver Fox Industries. It was the one that was mounted underneath the Sledgefire barrel was mounted up here, and it ended up being a two-shot because I used so much of the magazine area, receiver area, for the to basically sync it up closer to the Vagabond? No, Sledgefire. Gosh! So it lowered the capacity, but you still had the good plunger tube, and it looked really cool. But I ended up abandoning not only that part of the project, but the project itself, so now I have some Magnus bits. Hi. You came back to see what's going on? See if there's more toys for you? You got no more toys. No more toys, man. No more toys. Yeah, me, I think you had enough. There's the Vagabond grip that I mentioned earlier. Dremels are crap for sanding. Yes, yes they are. Hey, look at that. Rough cut, too. Is that somebody in front of our house? Hang on a second. Oh, just some jerk across the street. Okay. I was going to say, I don't want any weirdos showing up at my house. Oh, I was going to talk about something. Oh, yeah. Hi. This was one of the first pieces for the bottom of the center ride. Yeah. Yeah, when I was still trying to wrap up the front end and bottom of that. This was the trial piece I cut off and said, nope, I don't like that. Do you guys care when I'm telling you these things? I'm looking for pieces for this, but I'm also like reminiscing at the same time. Hi. I've looked at these a time or two, which is like the front-ish part of the Vagabond, but I think it's far too wide. Yeah, it's too wide. But it's kind of, you'd have, in fact, here's the other one. Yeah, So brainstorming, this is like, you know, this just in, you know, news stuff. It is wider, but I'm just looking. It's got a cool profile. If you dropped it down, I'm showing you this, and I keep forgetting that I moved the, let's see, the whole stream delay is killing me right now. Okay, camera's aimed over here. Okay, so if we bring this guy down to this level, it sticks out a little bit more on the sides, but if you kind of wrapped it around just a little bit, because that would make that might be complicated, because the top part is narrower than the crossbolt, but the bottom is wider. Okay. So, anyway, what I was looking at is it's got this kind of rounded off part, here, where it just kind of peters out that way, which we could incorporate that into the drop off here, so we're not relying on the shell as much to create the line as much as just cutting the whole works out and sliding this guy in all together. Of course, we'd sand off the vagabond part because this thing is not called the vagabond. But that would create, man. Right now, I'm really, really, really wishing. Okay, hang on a second. So this guy, top section, is right about there. Nope, nope, I lied, because that's a step down. Is that pretty cool? I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he's in there squeaking away happily on his brand new toys, care of Ryan Engelstadt. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, so that's that wide. And that is... Okay. Okay. We can do a thing. Let's have a fun vote real quick. 22 of you here. Okay. We have the option. Okay, the deal with this blaster is there wasn't necessarily, didn't need to have any rails. Rails were more of just an accessory to look cool, because the client is not planning on using optics. It's just an HVZ blaster. So I put this rail here just because, this one here, because I needed something to fill this area. But I had basically planned on putting a rail here just because it works. Because, you know, that uses up a good chunk of space, even though, I don't know. Anyway, I'm probably going to be adding a stock pad, butt pad here, just to get a little more, so you're not so cramped. But anyway, what I was saying is if we could use this guy here, it would help drop this line, this top line. It would help drop it down. It would give us some kind of cool details. I'd probably shave off these little humpy bumps because that's weird. But the situation is the top of the vagabond part here is basically as wide as the flat portion of the... Actually, no, how'd that work? How'd that work? I was hoping that, like, if this was the same width as this... Keep forgetting where we're at. Yeah, so if this was this, we'd have the wide part just kind of wrap around a little bit, and we'd be so golden. But this part is slightly narrower than this, but there's a big but here, is the flat, just the very flat top, like horizontal portion here, the same as basically we could fake this. So anyway, quick vote, you guys. Rail or no rail? This isn't a final deal. I still need to clear everything with the client before we get too crazy. But just for the sake of conversation here, just is kind of the decision-making process. Rail or no rail? Go. Oh, and by the way, get a load of that. I don't know if you can see that, but it says Nathan on it, because that's the brand, and that's my name. Okay, what do you guys think? I got a no rail, no rail, no, no, yes, 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 no, 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 yes. No opinion? Okay. American rail. I say no rail. Okay, we're getting some strong no rail action. So, excuse me. Okay. So, just as a mental exercise here, go ahead and pull this guy back down so I can actually look at stuff without being lost. Okay, does somebody want to give me a time of how long we've been doing this so I know how long the phone's gonna last? Because I've got a thing where the phone only usually lasts about an hour. We good? You still on? Okay. So. Okay. Just gonna. $56. Okay. Don't know if it'll let me check the. Are we upside down? It's weird. You guys are upside down. Stop being upside down. How do we do that? Alright, being weird. Stop being weird. There we go. Okay. Boy, that was being weird for a second. Okay. Still won't tell me how much battery's left, but I've got the thing plugged in, but it also sucks more juice than the charger can put in. So we'll just go, and if I disappear, then I apologize now. So. Dog hair everywhere still. Top part of a shell of a Recon Mark II. I don't have Recon Mark II to cut up. You're talking like the slide part. That'd actually be too wide, but if you're just talking the blank normal part of like a Retaliator or something, I actually don't have any of those either because I've cut them up to put them on mag strike mag wells. Okay, so. I like the idea here. I like the idea, but oh, quick little bonus here. I don't know if you can see, but there's like 3 little slots, choom, 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 here that are like details, and there are 3 little tiny ones, doop, 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 right there. So it's kind of cute that they like match, but they don't match, and I'm gonna have to like cut up and sacrifice one for the other. But it's hi. Kind of cool. I feel like I'm reaching too far. Here in a second. Get this thing figured out eventually. Someday when I'm old, like tomorrow or something. Okay. See, the problem I'm having right now, and I might have to do some photoshopping here to kind of get the idea before I go crazy with it. But my concern is that, yes, you have this here, and it looks good, but you also have a line here that's up and then comes down, and it'll come up for just a second and then just drop back down, and then taper off here. I'm not so concerned about this line here because I think that's cool. It's the little quick up and then back down here. So if you could do something cool with the bump to where it's like, hey, there's this bump here because of a reason, not there's a bump in the shell and a bump in that shell and they just happen to get, hook up and think that was great. That's the only issue I'm having because it's kind of a weird thing because you have, like I said, we're avoiding the stair step, but we also have a speed bump in the middle of the line. And the line, the profile, the silhouette, whatever you want to call it, is very crucial for a cool blaster like that. I say cool, meaning I hope this thing's cool when I'm done. So, I like the idea. In fact, Shoot. See, I'm talking myself out of it right now. See, I like the idea here. If that's down like that. So I do like that. I like that part. Huh. I do kind of like the idea of not having a top rail, of just having it kind of smooth off, because it'll match up well with that. I wonder. Wow, 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 wonder. That's how the song goes, you know. Why? A why? It's Del Shannon. Is it Del Shannon? I think so. Okay. Hi. You keep thinking people are going to give you more cool things. You can't have any more cool things because you got a whole box of cool things already, so you have to leave me alone now. So, okay. Thank you, Slater. He knows where I'm coming from. Runaway. Thank you. Thank you very much, Slater. Just throw a few more lyrics at me and I'll figure it out. Okay. Okay. If you're going to be a pain in the neck, be a cute pain in the neck. Okay, there we go. You're just being silly now. Man, your hair is coming out everywhere. Good heavens, man. I had a quick thought. But if we just trim this guy off here, we still have this guy. This guy here is going to be an issue no matter what. Unless we carry this line straight across the whole darn way. Which... I'm having a thought. I don't know if it's a good thought, but it is a thought. Of using just this part, the vagabond, where it's straight and then tapers off. Whoa! Whoa, things just got crazy in my head right now. Y'all are witness. Okay, remember this piece about a minute ago? Hi. Such a good boy. Can we combine them together into one really cool idea? Oh, good heavens. I'm not sure I can handle myself right now. Except for that's not going to work, dang it. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that guy's there. Let's just run with this being here for a minute, because that not only fills up this top part for a ways, also lines up the sides pretty good. I was just thinking if we put this guy here, I'm going to sneak in real quick, because we're going to cut this up anyway, so I don't really care right now. So I'd rather cut the stripe shell for a second instead of cutting up this little tab here. So if we just come in right there and there. I'm just going to cheat, just trim just a little bit of this out, maybe. Gonna try, maybe. There. Okay. All I wanted was a place for this to sit. Except for I totally didn't even measure that right. So I'm a dork. Hey, don't I do silly things? Okay, well, okay. I got around one issue and created another. So that's pretty much par. Okay. Okay. I was trying to trim that out because I thought that was causing the issue. It's actually just the side of the stripe, which is probably going to go away anyway. Anyway, so we get this guy here, this guy here. Now, all we got to do, see, this is where I'm getting at with, if we just use the front part of the Vagabond here. So if that fits in like so, can we then fit this guy here? We wouldn't have to worry about the toppy up bump. We would just have the rest of it, and it would go like that, like, and it would actually almost match up with the existing line here. So we'd move that back, and basically just have to match. So basically go like, judging off the quick mark I made here, kind of like that. That creates kind of a long line as far as the from up here to down here. Is that overly unusual? Good evening, Alice. How are you? Always nice to have you along. And Ed, good. What the heck are you two doing? You guys just kind of show up at the party together like nobody's gonna talk. Okay, perfect timing. Alice, tell me what I'm doing wrong. So Panda sends you guys, but he doesn't show up himself. So you got other cooler things to do, other kids to hang out with. Ah, dang. Okay, well, next time you see him, tell him we missed him. Panda, that is. Rotting my brain learning about civic engineering. That's weird. Why were you doing that? Once you have the voltmeter in there, the slope wouldn't be so deep. Where'd that thing go? So if that is going to go in there, this is all speculation. I'm not going to start cutting on anything yet because I do have to kind of clear it with the client first and be like, hey, client, this is kind of the direction I'm going here. This is what we decided. What do you think? And if he's like, hey, that's a great idea, then he doesn't actually sound like that. But if that's what he said, then yeah, we can go ahead with that. So just stop briefly on this long line. Okay, we're gonna take a break and step back a minute so we can get Alice all caught up. So, anyway, Alice, what we got going on here is we decided we were not going to do a rail here. This is just kind of a little peer discussion. I have this Vagabond front thingy they were thinking about using. We're going to incorporate it like that, but I didn't like the fact that this bump comes up and then immediately drops back down and goes forward. I thought that was silly. So what we decided to do, what we're talking about doing anyway, is not using the bump up part of the Vagabond, just using the forward portion. Because, furnace shut off again, I like it when that happens. Okay, if we use this original jam door-ish thing, just to act as kind of a filler, to use up a lot of that real estate, then we can put this in here. Ed, you can follow along too. So where was that? Okay, we got that line. And just kind of cuddle up with this for a second. So if it gets weird, don't worry about it. Because what I'm wanting to do is I have this cool little... The discussion was to make kind of an instrument panel of sorts, because I have the voltmeter on the Foam Blast, whoever it was that designed it, voltmeter mount, and then this piece here, which is the back end of a wizard, to kind of round this all off, so it's kind of a nice kind of molded in look. I'm probably going to move it forward just a little bit because I didn't like how deep. I did want the voltmeter set in a ways just so it's not, so it's kind of shaded a little bit, so it's kind of got a visor of sorts over it. Also, so you're not, you know, scratching it on things, I guess. And I thought it looked cool, and that's the main reason. The other idea was because I still have this open space here, and it's kind of awkward because it's like, hey, there's a really weird, it's just a weird section here since I don't have the jam door. It's like, it looks weird without. So the idea is to take this guy and build up this area here a little bit so it's fits this guy in, but he'll fit in back further because this area will be cut out. So it'll fit kind of in, you know, basically it'll, this line will come down and then flatten out, and probably going to raise it up, I drew on this side, to this line here of the strife, basically where the jam door would set in, kind of where this, basically it bumps out where the wire and the motors and stuff goes. That line will come straight across, and the little battery gauge will fit probably flush or just slightly under in this area. So then, that way, oh, of course then, because I didn't like the real radical drop in here, where this is, I'm going to angle this back a ways, so that as you're sighting down it, you're not looking over a hole, it just kind of, the blaster kind of intentionally angles down. That way this is more of like a recessed inset thing and less of a gauge sitting in a pothole. So yeah, so the idea is to take this kind of cool slopey part of the Vagabond, line it up with the slopey part here, which will be cut out later, or probably before, just to make probably at the same time so it all matches up, angles and whatnot. But yet if we just do this much, we have the weird bumpy thing. Oh yeah, so anyway, if we use the bumpy thing to match up with this line here, we have the up and down camel hump, which I didn't like. But then if we raise the whole darn thing up and use this piece as a filler, and then do something cool with lights or something in it, I don't know, then we can use just the forward part of the Vagabond. All right, see you later, Sepron. Sepron, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Have a wonderful evening. Good luck with your bulge. Yeah. Yep. Waiting for somebody to touch that one. Anyway, that's kind of where we're at. And again, like I said, this is just all speculation and just kind of tossing ideas around because I do this a whole lot on projects. In fact, I've done this a whole lot on the same area on this project. It just happens to, for whatever reason, be making a little more sense today for some reason. This I just did like day before yesterday, and this is like the biggest leap in design decisions that I've made on this in like months. Thank you, Ed. That's the nicest thing anybody said to me all day. I appreciate that. I'm sorry, Alice. The wife's out of town for the rest of the week, so I won't have anything to report. Did I just scratch that? I hope I didn't scratch that. Might have to replace that, darn it. Anyway, so that's kind of the ideas that's floating around in my head at the moment. So. Yes, thank you, Alice. You can take Mr. Sepron and put him on the watch list. So there's that thing. Well, that was kind of a fun little project thing. So now in my brain, I'm saying, okay, if we're going to do away with the rail back here, should I reconsider what I'm doing up here? And I guess the easiest thing to do would be to take the one piece that fit on the front of the long shot anyway, and just modify it or make something to fit it. So it's you got a thing up there, something to fill it up. Ed, do you need to wear a tie? I certainly hope you're wearing something. Okay, well, I'm going to puzzle on that. I might do some mock-ups later and talk to the client and be like, hello, client. Here's some things that I thought about, and see how that goes. So I'm going to go stick this guy back up on the board where all the projects in the world go to die. You have toys all over this garage, man. Well, heck, while I'm over here, does anybody have any questions about any other projects that are hanging up? Anything. Jackal, okay. Ed called it. Ed's wearing a tie. Mr. Fancy Pants. Oh. Okay, our pants required, or fancy pants required. Alice is exempt because I don't think she owns pants. Everyone else, please do. Okay. Set these guys aside. Okay, I'm going to move this back just a hair again. Just because it always feels like I'm leaning starting forward on this. Okay. I'm much happier. Okay. Okay, so we got this thing here that everybody likes. It's been a long time since it's actually been on the bench. I haven't touched this since before End War. Wow, that was a long time ago. Okay, yeah, wow. Yeah, I think I tinkered with it a little bit. It went to End War. People were like, hey, that's cool. And then I put it back in the box, hung it on the shelf, and that's all that's happened to it. Boy, is it dusty. Okay, that's right. It was the rail issue. I was pretty happy with everything else. The thing is just incredibly comfortable. It's like, oh, okay. of like all the blasters in the world I've ever held. When you shoulder this, I don't know if anybody here has handled this. This has been to FoamCon. That was it. Alice, I think, is probably the only one here who actually handled it. But it's just so, for whatever reason, the little bit of extension and a little tiny bit of drop on the stock, matched with the angle and the placement of the grip area on the front of the magwell, it's just so. It's like you could almost take a nap. It's like you shoulder it, and you're just like, oh, this is good. And then you like wake up 10 minutes later and you feel all refreshed and invigorated and ready to just go seize the day. So there's that. There we go. RZ. Oh, that's right. You were there. You were there. You're totally there. That's right. So I've got this guy. I believe the one thing holding me back on this was the gaping hole in the top. Because how did that work? I had a Ravonix rail, but it looked too tall. I liked this line here where it steps up and drops back, and it's just all smooth and fancy and stuff, because you have a nice kind of a continuous line here. But the Ravonix rail came about here, I believe, and it was just very vertical. It made it look like it had a mohawk, and not like a cool mohawk, but like a dumb mohawk. But, so I cut it off because I wanted to take this guy because I think I talked about it in the last video. Hope so. I hope I talked to somebody about it. I thought about this once. You have the, this has the internals of the Busby thermal scope in it, and then the sensor array, the little weird-looking eyeball, so to speak, is going to fit in the underbarrel part, because I think that's cool. And so it's going to be an all integrated thing. And when this thing sits here, you rest your cheek on the... This used to have the Hyperfire cheek rest on the jam door, but I actually moved that over to the Yellow Jacket because it made everybody look happier. But you can just rest your cheek here, and if you look, you can look just like casually look through the scope, and then this bump on the front of the Longshot front gun sits right in the middle of the viewing area. So theoretically, once the LED is reflecting in the lens, you'll have a dot appearing right at the top of this guy, like a dot right on top of the bump thing here. So it's going to be just like, it's just going to be fantastic to use. It's going to be like, if you're not taking a nap on the field with this thing, it's just going to be spectacular, and I'm just so darn happy with it. Anyway, so that means I need to integrate this guy in, but still be able to access the internals and stuff. So the idea was, because I have all this real estate, an area that I need to cover, the thought was to take a solid piece and put some screw bosses in various places, probably in the corners, a couple in the middle, and mount a solid piece that this would then, because this has the original mounting deal here, basically glue the mounting deal onto the piece so that this opens separately. You can access the internals and stuff. But then to get further into it, you have to take the whole panel off to access the rest of the blaster. But that way you have a nice consistent line. Otherwise, you have to cut two strips of whatever, ABS or something, and have them line up this way and make sure there's no weird variations sideways, make sure your gap stays even. It's more going to be easier to have the solid piece, but that also means having to integrate some kind of captive nuts of some kind in a few spots, and that's something I haven't tried yet. I don't have any experience with that, and so it's kind of one of those things where it's like, oh no, do I go into unknown territory and run the risk of screwing things up, or do I just apparently leave the thing sitting on the shelf for years? I'm kind of talking myself into it. The one thing, what the heck, I've got these things over the flywheels, but that shouldn't be an issue because that's going to take up the same amount of space. Hi. You're being such a good boy today. Now, jerk, earlier. We're shouldering it, stroking it. Yeah, yes, you did a lot of things to it, as I recall, Alice. But yes, you did shoulder it, and then you said something about, I have tiny arms, but it's comfortable besides that. Polycarbonate, closed top off. Yes, that's correct. Okay. Thank you, Ed, for wearing a tie. Is it a bow tie or a standard tie? Is it a clip-on or regular, like, tied up yourself? Um, just roof posted somewhere around. Okay. So Mr. says, the clamshell. Understand it's difficult. Brain is focused on 3D printing right now. That's where my brain goes. I think your brain goes other places too, Alice, but for the sake of the stream, yes, I believe you. Tom, you just got a CR10S. Cool. I've looked at some and thought about buying them, but there's always a price tag on them, and it bums me out. So, if hey, I had this really cool. If anybody wasn't here earlier, the dog got a box full of toys, and I got a very fancy stainless steel ruler thing, and a little screwdriver guy. Anyway, so I'm just gonna see, because I want to make sure that the line back here, which I just kind of grinded off somewhat haphazardly just to get material out of the way. But we have this ruler now, my straight edge, which is going to be totally straight and wonderful. So I could take that and say, okay, that's straight. But I'm not very... Okay, actually remove some more material on the back. That's cool. I'm just thinking, I need to get some sheet ABS. In fact, I talked to Prickly's Nerf Mods, about, because he used some sheet ABS on a project, and I said, hey, that's really cool. I wish I could find some, because I've been using styrene, and styrene is far too soft or insufficient for the application. But I want to get something durable that I can actually integrate in. If I can get this to where I'm confident that it's going to be just like absolutely dead straight, then I will do the clamshell bit, because it'll just be easier to integrate the whole darn thing together. And so you just take it apart, and it'll be like the whole works. I'm liking that idea. It'd be easier, technically, to just do the top plate, but if I just do sheet ABS, it would be a better finished product, I guess. It'll be trickier getting it lined up, but I think I'll be more satisfied with the finished product. Which is important to me, because that's the one reason this thing has taken so darn long, is because I kept making decisions based on, like, because this was originally supposed to be for the competition, and so I was making decisions based on, I need to get this done really quick, and then that flopped anyway, so... Oh, Alice confirms that Ed is wearing a tie. Thank you very much, both of you. That feels so much better. I gotta turn the bow tie. You can dye a bow tie both on yourself and on other women. I'm not going to ask under what circumstances you're wearing bow ties. This is a family stream. Five-gallon buckets can be cut into strips and heat straightened. What the heck are buckets made out of? Is that just regular? That's not regular ABS, is it? I thought it was more like a PVC type material, but I think I'd rather buy a sheet material that's already dead straight. I wouldn't mind if the bucket. I'd never heard of the bucket trick. That would work for building small pieces and panels, like the stuff I did, the work I did down here. That'd work for something like that. But for something that's going to be obviously a very, very top, flat, it's like if you ever have like a ding in the hood of your car, you just stare at it all the time you're driving, except for when you're looking at like traffic and stuff like that. Or if you have like a chip in the paint, you can just see it because you have just such a large plane that you're dealing with. So if I'm looking at this, if there's any weird irregularities in the top material, it's going to be like, boy, I sure got these weird irregularities in my top material, and it's going to upset me, and I refuse to be upset on this project. Formal events, obviously. Okay. Well, as long as you're formal about it. Okay. I guess I need to get some sheet ABS material so I can cap that guy off, since I'm immediately after I talked myself into the other project, now I'm talking myself into this project. That's right. That's right. I'm remembering my thought processes from far ago. Hey, your nose is on stream. That's cool. I've been playing with your nose on stream and everybody's been watching. That's silly. Oh yeah, I was originally going. I was going to do the top rail, and I was going to go to Picatinny, and because I was also going to trim this material off here because I wanted to replace it with Picatinny, and replace that guy on the side because Picatinny. But if I'm going to integrate this guy, there's not going to be a whole lot of really a reason for anything up front, which suddenly. Okay. I'm just realizing, if I integrate this guy, and I leave the rest of this smooth, it's going to be just a big chunk of very, very flat nothing. I could add a piece of rail. It would still sit underneath this level here. You know, just sit on top, which wouldn't be bad. It'd be kind of pointless because you have a rail sitting in front of a scope. You could put like a light or something there. Is it okay to have aesthetic rail that's just like, hey, I'm a rail that's not going to get used, but it's still there? Is that weird? Okay, time for a vote. There's only 19 of you now. There's 22 last time, so I still trust you guys. Would it be dumb to have rail sitting in front of an integrated scope thing just for looks? And the one thing, Slater, you just said it, it'd make the scope look like it's mounted, which I guess would be a thing. The one thing I didn't want to have the scope mounted separately, because it's going to be integrated in the wiring, so I'd have to have like a separate pigtail that it would plug into, and that'd be kind of weird and messy, and I'd have to have like the rail recessed so darn far to where it fit around. But if it just looks like it, then it would be towards like, okay, well, it's like the whole darn, like this base fits around. Yeah, I don't care anymore. I'm just going to do it because everybody says go for it. So, okay, I appreciate everybody's permission on that. Just making sure it wasn't so much like a, hey guys, can I do this thing? But it was more of a issue of, if I build it and complete it and it's all painted and wonderful, is there going to be some dumb kid being like, how come you got like a rail thing in front of the scope thing and stuff? They don't have that in Black Ops or whatever. Because see, I'm not all keen on these fancy video games and stuff like that to know what's like legal to do for fantasy guns and things like that. Gun, sorry. Oh, Ed Scar just saved the day. They do have that in Black Ops. I wouldn't know, but now I know. And knowing is half the battle. So, okay. Well, so I guess we're going to do it that way then. We'll go ahead and integrate the, actually I wouldn't need to do the flat top on the whole darn thing. If this is going to sit in here like this, the flat top, or the, I think I just made that a heck of a lot more difficult than it needed to be. Because if I have this guy set in, because I want to have it not like that. Because I'm thinking if I have it sit just like this, which I think is super neat. I don't know if you can tell. Hang on a second. Just taking a minute to appreciate, this is the top of the strong arm slide, and the width, you know, of the horizontal actual flat surface is the same as the flat surface on the bottom of this scope. And so when you set it there, you have basically, if I pull this in tight enough, it will just kind of sit there and I could basically integrate this line right here, this seam, and the little visor over the soon-to-be voltmeter or ammo counter, I'm not sure yet, will blend rather seamlessly into the scope itself, which just makes me giggle inside. So I do like that. I don't know if you can tell. Okay. Well, okay, so we mount this guy here. That uses up that area. I really only need to find a rail that fits this area here. This is why this is healthy. It's nice. It's healthy to talk things out. Because, see, I've been so worried about filling up this whole darn area with a flat panel. But if that takes up half the panel, and I'm going to put rail up, because I was going to do a flat panel there and put Picatinny on top, back when I was talking Picatinny. If we're just doing Nerf rail, I can just cut a section of something that fits that area and just fit it inside, and it's not going to matter quite as much as long as if it's like exactly perfect, because nothing is ever going to be exactly perfect. So if I just trim these guys out, make sure there's clearance around the flywheels, because there is a bit of a bump here for the clearance. So if I'm tricky about how I mount the rail in there, in fact, I'm going to dig the old boxes out and see if I can find that section of Ravonics rail, because well, I don't know. The Ravonics rail is cool because it's like flat and then just has like a couple little doinks in it, instead of being like the standard up and down, up and down, up and down that we see on the rest of the rail. It's kind of a different dog. But if that was the only rail, I would totally do that because I think it's really awesome looking. But since we do have existing rail and an existing aesthetic, then I just need to find approximately, hey, look at me using this ruler again, approximately 6 inches of rail, how to do it. So, hang on a second. Oh, gotta catch up on chat. Long Ops, Bob Ross, yes, guns. Alice, tempted to find a bow tie. If you're not wearing a pants, can you please wear a bow tie instead? You must wear either or, at least. If you're still inclined to wear both, please do. Edscar, Nerf snobs that refuse to accept that a Nerf blaster is a toy gun. It's not so much the fact that people want it to be a blaster, it's more of a safety measure for public things and just to keep dialogue clear of gun stuff, because, I mean, I don't have guns because I've wasted all of my money on cars and bikes and Nerf guns and things like that. I intend to later, but as far as like guns, I'm all about guns. I'm cool about guns. But in the circumstances and in the whole Nerf thing, I'm cool with the blaster terminology just because it keeps everything separate so you know what you're talking about. And it keeps the whole like Facebook and YouTube being like, guns are bad thing under control. So it's not, I don't know, it's, to me, I prefer the blaster terminology, but I understand some people get way too overboard about it. There's a happy medium with everything. Oh, come on now. Things are falling down. Ouch. Okay, I got the big tub out because I don't recall seeing that chunk of rail. Dang, I didn't need that. I'm already beyond that. Anyway, I got bigger chunks here to work with in this bigger tub. So, Edskar, gun does not equal firearm. Correct, but I think a lot of people don't use the term firearm because it's not as... It doesn't roll off the tongue quite as much as gun. Okay, I've got a couple rough cuts. Let's see what we got here. Okay. That, ooh, actually, yeah. So if we need, Ed, close your ears. 6 inches. Then Ed's got a thing about inches, which is okay. He's a foreigner, so he can have weird opinions. Okay, so we have approximately that much of this rough cut bit. But, let's see, so we got... Because the rough cut here has a bit of a crown to it, just the tiniest bit. So I just want to see if the if that's going to play a part. I'm fitting this here. Actually, you know what? You know what? There's still a good line. Well, hang on. A few metric folks, it's about yay. It's like, It's about like a palm and a finger and a half. For you metric folks out there. So I'm just eyeballing real quick. I'm sitting here with a 42.5 millimeter malice cage, which isn't going to work in a Strife because the dart guide is different between the Strife and the Rapid Strike apparently. So I can't use this, but it's sitting here looking pretty. But I'm just looking to see what the clearance is between the top of the shell here and the top of the shell here, because there's this little bump on the Strife that sticks up because it's like, hey, you need to have room for them flywheels in there. So if we, it looks like if we can line up the shell and the shell is just flat through there, then we could, instead of sticking the rail and everything why does everyone use the measurement of hands? Because it's too small to use a cubit, obviously. I'm wanting to, instead of sticking the rail to the top, because I have this nice line that I like, if I can stick it inside to where the rail would fit in between the shells, because I have a nice flat area here on either side from the original long-shot front gun, because I can grind out all the old DevCon, because I still have that line I can work with, and have a nice consistent straight line to work with. And if I fit this guy inside, yeah, we can totally make that work. Yeah, because it fits here. Oh. Okay. Alice. Okay. That explains a lot then. Because I'd not heard of any other issues, but I do know you intended this for Rapid Strike. But then this is going in a Strife, so I was like, oh, there must be just a little bit of difference. You know, kind of like the cam is kind of an odd duck, too. But yeah, it doesn't like magazines. You put it in and it's like, hey! So, yeah. Well, I'm not going to feel bad about trimming it off. So we'll just do that then. So thank you very much for the clarification, because I do like clarification. Bishop Gantry, sleepy time. Bye-bye all. Goodbye yourself. What the heck are you doing? What are you doing? Stop being silly. What is in there? even get in there. The heck? Okay, for those of you who have been watching the whole darn time, I mentioned when we were talking about dog toys that the Cragar dog had a very, very, very noisy, squeaky toy that I thought got thrown away. Apparently, it had gotten lost behind this giant tub of blasters that was stuck against the garage door that's been there for several months. And so, since I drug this thing out so we could dig through it and find stuff, he was over there crawling underneath the bed, under the shelf assembly, and being all nosy. And I'm like, what the heck are you doing? Well, he's trying to get his dang toy. So now he's got his dang toy, and now he's happy. So that was weird. Okay, what the heck? Coat duck. My hobby, pronouncing the acronym for long shot front gun like. Okay, I mean, everybody's got weird hobbies. We've all got weird hobbies, so okay. $2. Excellent, RZ Rider. Sure appreciate it, man. That with the dollar I got earlier, I got like $3. So that's cool. Thank you very much, fellas. Okay. Alice, these are just stock wheels. I just needed something. At the time, I didn't have any aftermarket flywheels, and so I just stuck the stock ones on there. So I had a measurement, or not a measurement, basically a reference, so I didn't cause any problems with the fitment. So these will be something cooler later. In fact, I was just about to get the calipers out, measure and see what the difference is on some of these other wheels to see how much room I needed to account for. Bulldogs are bigger. Thank you very much. I was about to find that out, but now I don't need to. Bulldogs come very close to being too tight for malice. Okay, excellent. Thank you for that as well. So I need to re-plan some things. Rainbow Circus, thank you very much. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. It's good to have you. And have a wonderful evening. Okay, so wheels and things. Okay, well, Ed and Alice just answered all of the questions I would ever have for tonight, which means it's going to be a pretty lame night, I guess. So we do need to make sure that we have enough room across the top for bigger wheels. Unless I plan on running blaster parts wheels, which would work, I guess. This is a 42.5. That would give me some pretty mellow crush, but I might as well just run regular wheels and have something that's really cool, because this is going to be a pretty blaster, but I want it to be a very functional blaster as well. This is something, it's so dang comfy. Like, I talk about it, and people are like, wow, he just likes it. No, the thing is just ridiculously comfortable to just shoulder and to just, like I said, you could just sit here and just like take a nap if you wanted to. It's terrific. So I do want the thing to operate good, because I do want to just walk around the field trying to like stay awake, just with how comfy this thing is. So I do want it to have it perform well. And it's going to remain semi-automatic and all that, because after getting these triggers and everything to work, then heck yeah, I'm going to totally rock that. So I want to make sure I have room for adequate flywheels. So okay, it wasn't a matter of no, you guys are good. It wasn't a matter of like, oh, you guys changed everything. It's just the if I fit everything in right now, if I trimmed off this little extra rise on the strife shell and just ran it straight, then these would basically, like, you wouldn't have to worry about foam buildup, because it would almost scrape off the foam as it built up. I don't have bulldogs. Do I have bulldogs? I don't think I got bulldogs. I got. What the heck did I get? What heavens? Did I? That's very unexpected. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Because Panda is an absolute prince and set me up with some. So they just feel nice. I just like them a lot. Okay. Oh. Well, wait a minute. What did I reference? Did I say something inadvertently? Oh. Uh-huh. Hmm. So a wise person would just put these wheels on and then just fit the blaster to it. So why the heck don't we just do that? But then again, that means I should probably put decent motors in here too, because I don't think I've done that either. No, what is in there? Oh, I got fangs in there already. Boy, that was smart. That was good of me. Good job, me. I just wish I had the appropriate tools to yank these off. And because I'm not sure I did before, I'm going to Loctite them in. There. Actually put it away like I was supposed to. That was good. Okay. Yes, Alice, I'd considered doing the prying bit, but I wasn't sure of the structural integrity of your cage. Not that I doubted the structural integrity of your cage. I just didn't want to find out since this is the only cage from you I have. So, and that makes it special. At least it wasn't Star Wars related. Am I missing something? Did I say something that I wasn't supposed to say, or something that was weird? I don't know what the heck's going on, and it's my stream. Could somebody help clarify? Feels like there was a reference somewhere, or something, or something. Alice, you got some splaining to do? Ah, okay, thanks, Alice. Except for Discord is on my phone, which is currently streaming right now. And we learned what happens when you try to do weird phone things when you're streaming. It drops, and then people get worried and afraid, and then they leave. And we don't want that to happen. And Alice, if you PM'd it to me, does that mean it's like not fit for public conversation? See, now you got me all worried about things. It probably isn't. I don't know how strong your probably is, so we'll just find out here in a little bit, I guess. So, okay. No, I need to put these suckers on there, boy. Must be strong. Golly. Okay, that's going to have to be good for now because my hands are dry and they're really not liking pushing on the back of this motor plate thing. So I have to come back when I'm tougher. Yay! Okay, anyway, that tells us what we need to know, like putting your cage in right. Let's just say it was the description of our good friend William. Didn't know we had a good friend named William. Boy, I have never been so confused in my life as I am on this stream right now. But that's okay. So, okay. Just gonna stick these guys in here real quick like. Real nerfers mount wheels on manually, brute force for the win. Yes, but I'm not going to right now. Like I said, my hands are like, hey man, don't do that right now, okay? So, looking at this, that's way... Okay, I don't know if we could pull it off, integrating it toward the rail stock flywheels. Integrating the rail shell piece in in line with the existing shell, because I think that's going to put too much closeness on these wheels, which are remarkably close in the cage there. In fact, there's a little booger right there. Okay, it'll make its own clearance, right? Okay, so, but we don't quite need quite as much room as this bump gives us, so I think if we just kind of go in the middle somewhere. Let's get this guy back out. Hey, this is the piece that has the piece cut off that we talked about earlier, for those of you who have been sticking around the whole darn time. So, okay. Which might be kind of a bonus, because if you look, or if you notice on the rough cut shell, and actually a lot of shells that have a rail mounted this close, especially on something this wide, is that you have like a little recessed dip right here, so you have room to actually get the screw in. Well, if we mounted this thing in line with the shell as it sits, then we'd have to accommodate that as well. But since we're kind of gonna be coming up about halfway in between, we can get away with that. So, so yeah, since this guy's already been cut up a little bit, we'll just continue cutting him up. So yeah, we'll do some cutting on him. Oh, Alice, the switch back here was for when I had the yeah, RZ's got it. I had that compressor mounted back here because I was originally going to have the air tank with the 3-shot absolver on it, because that was one of the stipulations of the contest that this was originally intended for. And this switch is mounted in such a way that you could put the stock Raven mag release in here, and when you push on the mag release, it would rock that switch. I don't have a mag release around here anywhere, I don't think. No, it worked out pretty good. As far as the initial mock-ups and stuff, like functionally, it was real cool, because we'll hold it together just for the sake of reminiscing, because we've been doing a fair bit of that today. Because with how comfortable this thing is, you could shoulder it, and then to charge up the compressor, you could just hit the mag release, bloop, and it would trip the switch, pump up your pumper, fill the tank, and you'd be set to go. That was the idea. But since we've gone away from that, then it's just there because I haven't taken it out yet. There. Don't have to worry about that anymore. Since this is going to be, what is this going to be? Is it going to be battery storage or something? Magwell? I don't think there is a fate for this. I had considered, oh, that's right. Once upon a time when this was going to be a compressor, I was going to carve all this whole area here out and carve out the orange bit here, the actual butt pad itself, cut it out the way I did the Centaur and the Centauride as far as making the battery door on the end. But since we don't have anything here, we could just either go through the top. Let's see, where'd this guy go? There's this guy. So voltmeter, ammo counter, whatever it's going to be, hardware can mount in here. So that leaves this area here. And even with the little visor deal, the jam door still opens enough that I think you can get a LiPo in there. Do I have? I had a LiPo over here before. Did I put it away? Sometimes I put things away when I'm supposed to, and it makes me happy because they're where I look for them later. But sometimes I don't. I apparently don't have. There we go. Spoke too soon. So yeah, I think that's big enough to fit a LiPo. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and have that as LiPo storage. That guy will close up and just be cool looking. So yeah, we'll have. Let's see, this guy will be here. Wiring. Yeah. Then I'll just do what I was going to do and build a panel that covers this area here that kind of blends this line to this line instead of having an obvious notch where it's like, hey, that looks like you should put a mag in there, and then you can't, and then it looks silly. I think I'll just maybe just cap that off or something. That way you just open that guy, plug in your LiPo plug, drop the battery in, good to go. So, okay. Have you ever thought of into a long strike stock into a Raven stock, integrating a long strike stock onto a Raven stock? I believe it was actually one of those that I thought about doing before I did the Raider stock, but was it longer? There's something about it that made me not do that, if I recall, and maybe it was the fact that this was just so dang comfy. I didn't want to talk about it. That's something we should talk about. Long strike stocks don't clamshell. They will if you try. That's right. Okay. Look at that. Okay. Yes, Alice, there was a bit of solvent welding in there. But if you're planning on cutting it up anyway, then you're not quite so hurt about things breaking. Anyway, this is like super, super comfortable. There's kind of this awkward space here, which might look better when it's painted, but I don't know. But there's this. This is the stock off a Rattler. And all I did was just cut along the existing body lines, and it does this. And it just fits so darn good around a Raven stock. And that just kind of like, oh, there we go. Line up that like that. Isn't that just a little sexy? A little. But that doesn't quite give us the awesome length, which I guess technically it could. I thought very, 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 very seriously about cutting this out because of this area here and even this thing, which I think is clever, but it's not quite what I want, I think, because I've been just... I think mainly it's this. I think this throws me off a lot, which I like having the loop there and using it as... because it's kind of a cool way it dropped together. At the same time, you'd never put a sling there. And, but I thought about filling it, but then that's weird too because you still have this weird flat area. So part of me thought, cutting this whole thing off and putting this on there instead, which would, of course, fit. But I don't think it would fit quite the same. It's one of those things where this is so dang comfy, I would hate to cut it off and integrate this and then find out it's not quite as comfy. Even though, when you put this on here and you shoulder it, you kind of go, yeah, that's all right. I could probably take some like hardcore measurements and stuff as far as like how far out to make it sit. Because even if you had to move it out a ways, you have a little bit more material here to help kind of blend everything in. You could carry this whole line and blend this together. But you have that kind of this cool deal here, which kind of softens the blow a little bit. You can carry those lines down to the substrate, so to speak. And you could even use that as like a contrasting color, or having it all like, you could have it black or like gray and then have like the actual butt pad detail a separate color. So you kind of tie that in. Oh, Ed, you're going to have me do this whole elbow thing, huh? Okay. I'm going to start with this one because it's so dang comfy. And yes, I can hold it like that at a 90 and it plows into my bicep. Bicep. But this guy is close. But I think if I give it a ½ inch, it's similar. But it's also the height, but it's also the width. I don't know how much difference it would be, because the Rattler itself is not a very comfortable blaster, but it has this kind of cool, very cool shell details. But my biggest fear is, I don't know, it's like, because I don't know quite what it is about this that just feels so good. I mean, it's got kind of the narrow stock, but it's just so... It's just so much good stuff going on right there. So, I don't know. I think style-wise, like purely stylistically, I think this thing looks awesome. Here, like that, is just bomb diggity or something like that. I'm sure somebody would say something weird like that. Do people say that? I swear I heard somebody say that once. But, yeah, this... comfort-wise, is just really, 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 really cool. But that also means, because I've talked about this before several times, of taking this and finishing it as itself, but then doing something different, building something, because this, I think I mentioned it in the one of the original videos for this. But this changed quite a bit from the original concept because I had to fit along those contest guidelines that said you had to have some kind of shotgun mode of some kind, so I had to extend the front quite a bit, which changed a whole lot of the dynamics of the build. And this was an original part, but I was going to have this tucked in a lot tighter, and just a lot of things that it was more like, oh, I need to do, I have to have this much area, so I need to stretch things out and change some things. So I wanted to go back eventually, and yes, build another Straven technically, because that's technically what the base is. It's a Strife and a Raven of a different color, so to speak. But as much as I hate to do the same recipe again, you never know. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do this on a Raven for the sake of like, because I do want to build a Raven that's just a Raven for Raven's sake. Because I have one more Raven that's green and cut upable. Because I've got 3 elites over there that I don't want to cut up because I don't like cutting up elites because they look neat. These ones look gross, so I don't mind cutting them up because it's like doing them a favor. So, I might just save this little treatment for a different project altogether, but I figured I'd throw it out there because it just looks nice. So, anyway. So, Raven. That's where we're at with that. We've done some good things today. I don't know what my phone's doing, but I'm sure it's pretty close to being dead, even though it's actually plugged in right now, but the stream cuts it off, or sucks it dry so fast that even charging, it still loses power. So, I don't know where we're at, but it's probably going to die soon, so I think I'll shut it down. We've learned a lot. This has actually been a good stream. Thank you very much for the 18 of you who are here. We had upwards of 22 or 23 earlier, which was pretty darn cool. It's nice to have a nice big group here and have some interesting conversation with everybody. Really appreciated everybody's input on the other project. Talking about rails, no rails, having a little vote, and that was fun. Throwing ideas around, discussing things. It was good. We've made some progress. Got some good ideas on the other project there. We've gained some ground, some nice traction here, which is good because, as Ed said earlier, this is a fan favorite, which is kind of funny because I've built some cool things, and people are like, "Oh, that's cool and all," but for whatever reason, people are like, "Oh, Jackal's so cool," and which is cool. I mean, I really do like it. It's just everybody else seems to like it more than me, so that's cool. But yeah, it's been good. I really appreciated you guys' input. Like I said, we got a good solid direction on this as far as rail. We got a rail for it. We can integrate that guy. Thank you very much again to Ryan Engelstedt, if he's still here, for the super cool ruler, which is going to be actually going to work directly in getting this project up and running again, and for the screwdriver thing, which I will put in my gear for packing, so I make sure I always have tools with me for going to the arena, because it always sucks when I forget those. And Cragar's over there right now, chewing on squeaky things and noising around the weird noise-making thing. So, very much. Very much. Thank you very much. Again, to everyone, this probably means that there's going to be some traction, or actually gaining some ground on this project now. So that'll make everybody happy. Not sure how videos are going to be for the immediate future. I do have a few review things to work on. I do have a discussion video, which is going to be cool because it's going to be featured in front of the new wall. But with the holidays coming up, things might miss a couple weeks here and there, because I do try to keep everything on a Thursday night. In fact, I need to go finish a thumbnail, so I have something to post for tonight to come up for tomorrow. But no promises on the rest of the year and on into the new year, just because of holidays and stuff like that. I'll see what I can do, but if I'm quiet, that's okay. We're still plugging away. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you guys next time.